Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. And not just Kilt-Man, Kilt-Man and another mystery package. Oh yes. Now, most of you will kind of recognise the shape and dimensions of this package. And you know, this has come from our good friend Steve OO7 Smith. You know him, you love him. And he sends lots of movie artwork canvases. You can see some dotted around here right now. In fact, all the walls are bedecked with fantastic canvas movie artwork which he has procured for me. Many of which he's done work on. He's got artwork and from one source, artwork from another source, some titles and fonts from another source, and he's put them all together and then he sent them off, and then another company has put it all together using some kind of weird black magic and alchemy and come up with fantastic prints like these. Not that one there. He didn't do that one. My dad did that one. My late great dad, Big Kilt Papa, did that picture there. So that one has to stay. Even though like there's so much artwork now from Steve that we could cover every single inch of Kilt Mansion. And then pretty much every other house in this realm as well. But long may it keep coming. So Steve always sends to me a few little clues as to what the next canvas art might be. Doesn't just tell me. God, that'd be too easy, wouldn't it? No, gives me a few little clues. Now, by and large, I do tend to work these out. Although of late, he's got a bit more cryptic, where I really haven't had a sodding clue as to what it was going to be. Although, when you open it, you go, oh yeah, I could have worked that out. It was just thought along that different path there, or went down that road there, but no, I was thinking, whatever. This time, however, I do think that I've got it. Well, I think I do, but I've been optimistic before and failed dismally. Having said that, it's never a failure because it's always awesome artwork. Now, the clues he sent to me this time were, let me see if I can remember this rightly, because there weren't many. He said, this one's very timely with COVID. You only need one shot. You only have one shot. This one's very timely with COVID. You only have one shot. Good luck to you, sir. So, well, you know, right away, I thought, okay, COVID, right, pandemic, global apocalypse, perhaps. So I thought, post-apocalypse. It's zombies, or it's Mad Max. So I replied to him and said, it's zombies, or it's Mad Max. Didn't get no reply. And then I thought a bit more about it. And I thought, hang on a minute, that line, you only have one shot. That rings a bell. That's not zombies, you know. And it's not Max. You know, there's a big clue there in who this guy is, who's sending all this. His name is Steve OO7 Smith. He was christened OO7 Smith. He's a massive James Bond fan, as indeed am I. So suddenly I thought, what a dickhead am I? Because COVID, it's timely. What's coming out in only a few days from now? Yeah, what is it? What's it called? No Time to Die. Yes, the final Daniel Craig entry in his 007 tenure. Long awaited. Bond number 25 in the official Bond canon, the Bond run. And yeah, so it's been delayed for a hell of a long time, as we all know. We don't need to go on about all that, do we? So yeah, timely, COVID, Bond, you only have one shot. I kept thinking, once I got on that train of thought, Quantum of Solace. Okay, it's not everyone's favourite Bond movie. I think it's great, by the way. I do, although I think the finale is horribly rushed. And obviously, by his own admission, Daniel Craig, who took over writing it because the writers' strike at the time, and they were tied into a release date, so what could they do? They had to put this film out, so they had to get it done. so he took over the reins, and yeah, it wasn't a great script at all, and it really was edited very, very badly, in that they took on the whole Jason Bourne style of snap, snap, snap editing, and it just made some of the action scenes very incoherent, albeit very exciting. But I still like the movie. I don't think it's that, though. I don't think it's that. I think this is Bond, and if it's Bond, and I know Steve OO7 Smith as well as I think I know him, and he knows me as well as he thinks he knows me, he knows exactly what my favourite Bond movie is. And I have said it many, many times. I've played its music. I've discussed the movie a lot. I love it. I still think it's the best Bond movie ever made. And I still think he's perhaps the best incarnation of Bond. Some of you are way ahead of me here already. It's one of the most faithful to Ian Fleming's original novels. I mean, let's face it, Casino Royale, by the way, Daniel Craig's first outing as Bond. Casino Royale, everything that happens in the story Ian Fleming wrote of Casino Royale happens in that movie. Just the movie puts a lot more in it. But as far as narrative faithfulness and authenticity is concerned, only one film really does hit the mark every time. And it hits it with a vengeance, a violence, and an incredible emotional wallop as well. So, and if I'm wrong, and I could be, but anyway, here's another clue. The greatest theme song, and one of John Barry's greatest scores ever. George Lazenby in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. You know, up until Daniel Craig, this was the longest Bond movie, and of course now we've got a Bond movie, No Time to Die, which is on for almost 3 hours. 3 hours of Bond. Yeah. Louis Armstrong. Diana Rigg as the Contessa Tracy, who then snares Bond's heart, and the two do get married. And in only one of two brief little encounters with Q in this movie, Lazenby's Bond says to him after the wedding, "This time I've got all the gadgets and I know how to use them." Well, you know, we haven't really got all the time in the world, because I've got to get on and open this. You know what? I really, really hope it is On Her Majesty's Secret Service now, because I've got myself in that train of thought. I've been out today. I did a big massive video, some of you may have seen it, reviewing the film The Funhouse. And then I had many, many drinky poos in the pub. But I knew I'd be opening this today. So, ski and do at the ready. I mean, the thing about this is, like, you don't need to. That always just comes up. This could well be upside down, folks, when I unveil this. I don't know. It's sealed in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slice the cellophane and I'm going to raise it to you guys. You guys will see it before me, and hopefully it's the right way around. But if it isn't, you know, that's life. We've got all the time in the world to flip it round the other way. What if it is Mad Max? No, it can't be. Because another thing as well, sorry, before I actually show you what I think, another thing is, like, something about COVID. Steve, you mentioned COVID, and, you know, okay, the delay for Bond obviously kind of puts me in that mind, but also COVID, a global pandemic, and part of the plot of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. You know what? It's my favourite Bond movie, but it's the one Bond film whose title I really stuttered and stammered over. on Her Majesty's Secret Service, OHMSS. Blofeld's plan, Terry Savalas' Blofeld. You know, he just wants, all he wants is a pardon from all the world's governments for all his previous crimes and misdemeanours. Okay? But also, he wants to become a count. He wants to learn his lineage and be recognised as some kind of, you know, nobility. When you think about it, he's not asking for a great deal. But if he doesn't get that, he's got all these blonde babes, you know, his agents of death, his angels of death, who are going to go out around the world, who can spread this plague which will wipe out half of mankind. So, you know, there's that as well. The global pandemic. Okay. Oh, please be the right way around. Please be the right way around. I'm not looking. It's upside down! Steve, I almost went for Mad Max, almost went for Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead. And then I thought Bond. And there's only one Bond that the two of us would actually, that you would do for me. And that is on Her Majesty's Service. See, I'm still stuttering over it now. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, look. It is one of the classic posters, but you've obviously changed some of this stuff. And the colours, you've enhanced certain things. Look at the helicopters here. The attack on Piz Gloria, which is Blofeld's Swiss Alps, you know, headquarters. And of course, Bond employs Draco, her dad, and because he's Europe's biggest mob boss kingpin. But he also likes Bond, and he wants his wayward daughter to be controlled by a proper man. You know, spare the rod, spoil the child. So he wants him to take over her, and she is a firebrand. She's awesome. Her Mercury Cougar car. She does the car chase. She does the driving in the car chase. She's the one that saves him when he's escaped from Piz Gloria already. Bit of a skiing, you know, chase there, and then he's got into the air. There's Christmas trees, and there's everyone skating around the ice rink, and he's sitting there. He's already had a fight in like the sort of the chiming bell hut. Beating some guy up, he sent another guy over a cliff, but everyone, including Emma Bunt, that big Haddon bitch who's Blofeld's henchwoman, everyone's after him and they're closing in. And I've always said this is such a great sequence. He sits there and he pulls his park up like that, and everyone's skating past, killers coming that way, killers coming that way, killers coming every single way, and Bond, our guy, just Parker collar comes up and he's like, I'm gonna die here. And then suddenly these luscious legs glide to a halt on the ice. Looks up, James, Tracy, someone are trying to kill me. Let's get out of here then. And she saves the day to get in the car, and then the great big chase takes place. And they end up again in the air, the snowbound like car rally, and they go blasting into there, and it's just phenomenal. She is one of the best Bond girls ever. I mean, she takes out the main Blofeld henchman, Grunther, I think his name is, Grunther, who he apparently battered in a screen test, because Lazenby, you know, a lot of people don't like him. Well, that was always the myth. A lot of people don't like Lazenby. Nowadays, this film and his performance has come in for a huge amount of re-evaluation. And people now love it and rate this film as being one of the best Bond films ever made. I've never doubted it, never disputed it. I always held it up as the pinnacle. Even when I was a kid. When I was a kid growing up on Sean Connery and Roger Moore, obviously. But seeing this at the cinema, which I did do on the reruns, I didn't care it wasn't Sean. Didn't care it wasn't Rog. It was George. And George was kicking ass. Really good style. He really, really clobbers people. John Glenn, future director of many Bond movies. Peter Hunt directed this one, but John Glenn was editing it. And the editing is whip crap stuff. The way that the bludgeoning blows, the elbows, the body blows, and the reaction shots. It's cut so well that you go, oh, oof, oh, bang. The best fights in Bond, one of the best fights in Bond, fighting Red Grant on the train in From Russia with Love. The fight with, oh God, the diamond smuggler in Diamonds Are Forever in the lift, Sean Connery. Awesome. Pierce Brosnan fighting Sean Bean at the end of GoldenEye. And pretty much any fight that Daniel Craig got into. But before all that, and right up there with the best, it's this guy fighting anybody. The fight in the hotel room near the start with one of Draco's henchmen. Big black dude. Oh my God, that is so good, that fight. The fight when he gets to Draco's stronghold to meet Draco for the first time. Oh, in fact, hang on a second, I can even reenact a bit of that. He's just clobbered a few guys in the corridor outside. He opens the door, Draco's just sitting there, and Bond has got the knife, and he's like, oh. He's crouching down. It's a great pose. Lazenby strikes such an iconic image like that with the blade about to throw it. And Draco is just, oh, calm the fuck down. Go and have some caviar and a bit of vodka martini. Just cool your jets, mate. I want you to marry me daughter. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Let's look at this though. So you've got the Swiss Alps, you've got the helicopters here, the attack on Piz Gloria, lots of machine gun fire, lots of Blofeld. Telly Savalas is great as Blofeld. I mean, the thing is, they wanted... Donald Pleasance was magnificent as Blofeld in You Only Live Twice. But for this story, and Bond's ongoing obsession with catching him, which obviously gains more momentum, well, we'll come on to why that is. But they knew there'd be more physicality for Blofeld. These two are going to have to go, against each other. They're going to have to fight, and there's going to be a proper chase as well, the bobsled chase. So they cut Donald Pleasance, as great as he is, he couldn't have done that. And the way that he was playing Blofeld anyway, he was too effete, too, pussy stroking to be engaged in fisticuffs. That wasn't his game at all. So Telly Savalas might not be the most charming and suave and sophisticated, although he does a good job at being that way, because he wants nobility, so it kind of works. He's not, super charming and full of, aristocratic airs and graces. He wants that artificially. Find me the proof that I am who I believe I am. That's what he's saying, that's what he wants. But physically, he's imposing, and he can fight, and he can run, and he can move. So he's a good opponent physically, matched against George Lazenby's Bond. So that fight at the end is terrific. Okay, you've got the rear projection and all that. Look, you've got that ad infinitum in all the early Bond movies. And then you've got some... And the thing is, it looks way better in this than it does watching Roger Moore on the Piste, and doing all his sort of stuff, which I still love, by the way, but he's more convincing. No matter what he does, he's more convincing. His physicality is animalistic. His fighting is hugely impressive because, as I said before, he was unskilled. He was knocking people out. He was breaking noses of stuntmen because his coordination wasn't that good. Looks great on camera because he's actually smacking them for real. But it works. And his charm and his romance with Tracy. See, thank God that came on, because I could get quite emotional with this, because it really, really is profoundly upsetting. The finale. They go back to rescue her, to take out Blofeld. They think they have, and Blofeld comes back after the wedding. Machine gun fire strafing the car. The 1969 Aston Martin, which you only see at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie. No gadgets in it. And the copper pulls up, the motorcycle copper pulls up, and she's just resting. It's Blofeld! It's Blofeld! Tracy's head just lolls. She's just resting. we have all the time in the world. Jesus Christ. The bullet hole in the glass, the bullet hole in the head, and the blood. Oh my God. And then of course, that's why Bond's obsession with Blofeld goes beyond just like the job, the basic job, you know, on a Majesty's Secret Service. Now it's personal. But you've also got the classic scene near the start where he resigns, and you've got Lois Maxwell, Moneypenny, doesn't type the right resignation. She just basically asks Bernard Lee for, you know, a couple of weeks leave. So he goes in there. Oh, he wants to see that monolith in there. So he goes in to see, and then says, you know, request granted. Right, off he goes. It's just 2 weeks leave. So Bond just goes like to Moneypenny, what would they do without you? Well, my problem is, you've never done anything with me. Well, that's a date. And then he walks out, and in one of the entire franchise's greatest little moments, calls on the intercom to Moneypenny, says, Moneypenny, what would I do without you? Thank you. And it's just such a beautiful, touching moment. What I find odd about that sequence is it does show Bond has an office, because he goes in to get all his gadgets from the previous Bond adventures. So you get John Barry playing a few motifs from the earlier movies, a few little gadgets and gizmos from his earlier adventures. But why would Bond have an office just over the corridor from M? He's never fucking there. He's on missions all the time. So what's that about? Never there. Who'd be in that office normally? You know, not going to have that office space. I work for the government. I know how penny pinching they are. How the space that they want, the desk space, and cramming people in. No way. Anyway, look at this. I would change one line though. The big chase on the skis, and the bad guy goes into the snowplow, and you just see all fountains of gore flying up. And he goes, he had lots of guts. That's crap. It should just say, he had guts. He had lots of guts. To me, that always strikes a bit of a duff note, when it should just be, he had guts. That's fine. That's all you need. You've just seen them. Not lots of guts. Not more guts than anybody else. I don't know. But even this song, I still like this song as well. But we're going to move on. Yeah. I mean, the skiing, you've got chases aplenty. You've got the stuff on the beach at the start, the suicide. It's got some dark stuff. She's going to commit suicide at the start of the movie, and he saves her. Beluga caviar, north of the Caspian. And of course you've got what's his name? George Baker does the voice when he's playing the Kilted. Oh, hang on. I am Kilted, folks. The Kilted Sir Hilary Bray. He assumes the identity of Sir Hilary Bray to go up to Piz Gloria, to go and like trace Blofeld's ancestry. But for all the scenes where he's playing Sir Hilary Bray, it's George Baker doing the voice. And some of you will probably know that the American TV, a very short run American TV version of it, had George Baker voicing George Lazenby all the way through the movie, and even doing a really shoddy voiceover for some bits to explain scenes and what was happening. What the hell? Garbage. The Broccolis saw that and went, get rid of that. That ain't happening. That is not Bond. But you've still got his voice doing those scenes, and it's, you know, it's obvious, but it still works as far as I'm concerned. It's all part of the nostalgic charm of this movie. So, you know, and when you say nostalgic charm, people go like, oh, well, you know, you're kind of airbrushing over a lot of failings there. Only a handful of failings. Most of it is absolutely top-notch. Brutal, exciting, emotional. A great story, exceptionally well told, lots and lots of action, ski chases, foot chases, car chases, bobsled chases. It's just fantastic. It's got everything you want from a Bond movie. And look at this. It is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, she does look sexy as hell, and you can see in previous movies like You Only Live Twice, you know, Sean Connery in little, what's it called? What's the little thing called? The little gyrocopter? Little Nelly. God, it's been a long day. Little Nelly, and he's just with the Walther PPK smug look on his face. You had like many Moonraker posters where Bond, Roger Moore, is exploding from the air up into space in his spacesuit, but no fucking helmet on him. He's just got the gun and the eyebrow raised. Yeah. Oh yes, the secret of acting is being able to raise your eyebrows. It's all I've ever had to do. Well, what if I can only raise one eyebrow? Well, then you're only half the actor that I am. As Roger Moore did say. Fantastic. So I mean, you've got that smug look. Now you look at Daniel Craig's posters for the movies. Oh God, it's symptomatic of movies these days. There's no artwork, there's no design, there's no imagination, no flair, no visual panache to it. It's just Daniel Craig looking mean. To be honest, sometimes I don't mind that sort of thing, but they're not a patch on artwork like this, where you've got elements of the movie. You've got, look at it. It's so infinitely cool that you can't deny it. Its power is just in your face. Just, you know, just a guy just standing there with a mean look on his face and a gun and nothing else. That's been so done to death now. Let's see artwork make a return to cinematic posters. Let's see it. Let's have some creativity. There's 1,000,001 graphic artists out there who can capture the imagery of a movie and splash it all around in a great sort of montage. You know, the 60s and 70s was the great era of movie posters. The 80s then began to like just start put, you know, imagery on which wasn't that particularly great. You had the macho, you had Arnie, you had Stallone, so they'd just be front and centre with a big explosion behind them. Great at the time. Then the 90s would have floating heads, just floating heads would be in there, and then the title would be there. And that went on. That's still going on now. It's still the style now. This is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love all the cascading snow and ice as well. It just makes it so interesting. There's a lot going on there. I love it. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, folks. The best Bond film. Ordinarily, right now, I would raise a whiskey. Well, I still will. But it's in the kitchen. I'll be back in a moment because this demands it. I haven't got any vodka martini. It's just whiskey. Back in a minute. Cool. Do you think I got lost? All the snow and ice and the blizzards out there. All these orange-clad, jump-suited henchmen pursuing me. But I still found this. Oh, the whole point of this was to go, Steve, cheers, mate. That's a beauty. Oh, and I got you. I did initially go off on the wrong tack, but I quickly reined myself back in because I think, what was it really? I think it was the Bond delay because of COVID. And once I got on that train of thought, Bond just became the only thing I could think of. And that was clearly the one. God bless her. God bless you all. And as Bond would say, God bless you, Queen. Your Highness. I'm going to move on to another one of my favourite tracks here. Let's go on to, where is it now? Right, this should start off kind of, swoony and romantic. But what it'll do, it'll transition into Bond going to Draco's hideaway, and the big dude that he beat up in the hotel room the night before will suddenly, Bond will be ushered into a limousine, an open top limousine, to be driven off, and a knife will be put into his side like that. And they go, where are we going? Oh, and no one says anything. Mystery tour, is it then? I think we'll all be more comfortable without that, And the guy that he beat up the night before just goes, and pulls the knife back. But it's how John Barry does this beautifully slow, almost militaristic version of the main theme. And it's just beautiful, it's beautiful. It's be coming up in a moment or two after all this smoochy stuff takes place. I mean, this never happened to the other guy, did it? Any second now. That's a new bottle. I've been out the pub for hours today. That'll be going down there. At this rate, you guys will be thinking I'm some kind of alcoholic. I have joined Alcoholics Anonymous, by the way, which just means I still drink, but under a different name. Dearly me. Here we go, it's coming up now. It's just a beautiful rendition. When he gets into the car and he's threatened, but it's powerful. There's a nice militaristic beat, but it's slow. Alright, I'm sick of describing it. Just play it now, please. That's because I'm on the wrong fucking track. I was playing the wrong track. Anyway, just feast your eyes on that. Again, I'm going to have the problem is where am I going to put this now? But the beauty is, because if you can see there, it only takes, for these that are portrait style, one tack in the wall, and there's millions of tacks in all the walls. You just go, dunk, you put it on. You take one off, you put a new one on. You move them round, so you can constantly change the decor of your room, your hall, the landing, upstairs, wherever. The battlements, the ramparts. Okay, this bit should be coming on now. Come on, Mr. Barry. Yeah, it's coming on now. This is just so gorgeous, this. There's the brass comes in. It's regal. There's a power to it, and yet the power's quite sedate, if you know what I mean. It's not like boom, boom in your face. It's measured. God, I love this. I love this. The thing is, right now it's getting on this evening. It's a Sunday night. It's a school night. It's wet tomorrow. Christ. but I don't half want to watch this now. And we've got No Time to Die in only a few days' time. And we know that Hans Zimmer, who I do like, by the way, but I also hate what he's done to movie soundtracks in the last decade, 2 decades maybe. And I do despise what he's done. The monopoly that he has over every genre. And now he's got his fingers into the pie of James Bond. But I know he does play, there's a couple of tracks which do reference OHMSS directly. Okay, that's nice, that's great. You know, you're showing some respect there. But although I've not heard the full score, I've heard bits. And it does appear, sadly, to be very just Hans Zimmer. You know, that stem and drang and the boom that he always does. Droning, you know, tonal noises and just, you know, just an underbelly of pure lack of colour, just complete monochrome sound. Whereas John Barry had colour, had feeling, emotion. Listen to this. Okay, this is one of the high points, I mean, in the entire James Bond canon of musical scores. As everyone acknowledges, this is the absolute zenith for James Bond scoring. The action is there, the romance is there, the atmospherics are there, the lush qualities are there. All of which you're not going to get with Hans Zimmer. You're not. You're just not. Unless he's referencing John Barry. But, you know, it might serve the film. Thomas Newman for Spectre and Skyfall. I loved the music for Skyfall. Loved it. Hated the main song. Hated it. Jesus Christ. That fat bitch singing it. Oh God. See, don't get me started on that. But I can't stand there and I hate her. Hate her vocals, despise it, but the soundtrack itself was great, the score was great. Quantum of Solace, Alicia Keys, and who was the other guy? I don't know. Some good action cues in it, but Casino Royale, fantastic, loved that one. Listen to that. How haunting is that? You really get the impression that with this movie, this was the biggest, the most extravagant, the most sumptuous, the one that they had. There's more writing, there's more dialogue, there's more script, there's more narrative. There's just so much more going on. They could just lavish more money, and John Barry could take more time to come up with such a wonderfully emotional and absolutely intoxicating score. Beautiful, just beautiful. But I think we're going to have to end, well, you know how we're going to end. But we're going to have some action on it. Here's when I always pick the wrong tracks. Because I know these, I don't always look at the track titles, I just know the music. And I should be able to go like, oh, this one is the one. No. We're going to go straight to bobsleds. You love like that pot of like chemical acid gets chucked at the door and Bond just goes as it melts, and Bond looks great, Sten gun, and he's got the blue smock, combat smock on, looks fantastic. The head against the ice on the crest of the run. It's tremendously well done. Even now, watching like the Fast and Furious and all that kind of stuff, and action scenes that you get nowadays, when you go back and watch these scenes, the fights, the chases, shit, they still really, really have a massive, adrenalized punch to them. A real kick in the chunks. Sorry, I'm sitting on a more comfortable chair than usual because I'm on the settee in the front room. The dog normally lies here, but so I'll be covered in husky fare now. So I'm just enjoying this all the more. So they are. They're plummeting down the crest of the run. Clobbering the shit out of each other, pulling the brakes which are coming off like, and then a certain tree with a certain fork in the branches is going to suddenly come up out of nowhere and you're going to get your head crunched. But it doesn't kill him now, does it? No. And he's just there in the car with his neck in a brace. And now my neighbour is drilling again. Unbelievable. Well,
we have all the time in the world. Love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. We have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more. Nothing less, only love.
I'm not the greatest mime artist, am I?
Every step out of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. Yes, we have all the time in the world. Just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love.
You watch, about 2 o'clock in the morning, he'll get the big pneumatics drill out and the whole floor will be shaking. Anyway, folks, best Bond ever. Folks, I have been and always shall be Kilted for your services. Please be happy, be safe, and whatever you're doing, enjoy it. Because if you're not enjoying it, then stop doing it and go and do something else that you do enjoy. It's simple. Steve, cheers mate. That is fantastic. I'm sure you're all going to agree. So please be happy, be safe, keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic. And I'm going to see you all. Namaste. Laters. I've got to turn the off button on the back side of this camera.